I'm saying hello with Boston and Mocha. Boston and Mocha, did you guys know that we're on Treaty 1 territory? That's what Winnipeg is. For 147 years, I wanted to acknowledge that today, August 3rd, 2018, marks 147 years of Treaty 1 signing at Lower Fort Garry. So August 3rd, 1871. Did you guys know that already? I'm just being silly with my dogs. So I thought it was important to acknowledge that. I know a lot of the things that I'm involved in, the Mayor's Indigenous Advisory, the Winnipeg Chamber, the Aboriginal Chamber, and a lot of other organizations are acknowledging that here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, we're on Treaty 1 territory. And I think that's a really good step. First of all, it acknowledges that Indigenous people are still here. We're still in existence. We still matter. It acknowledges that there are treaties that need to be honored and recognized, and by recognizing that they exist is the first part of better understanding what the treaties actually hold and what the agreements mean. But I wanted to share a couple of things on what does it mean for us as, you know, anyone who's in a treaty territory. So Manitoba has up to 5 treaty areas, and so you could visit Treaty Relations Commission website. They have so much free information that you could share and read and learn, so trcm.ca. And so this is what's important to me about the treaties, or about acknowledgement of treaty. That's where I'm going to start. So I was at an event a couple months ago, and one of the Treaty 1 chiefs asked the First Nation Treaty 1 members to stand. And I was like, yes, this is the perfect next step. And so I think that that should be put into place for everything. Like, if you're acknowledging treaty territory in the work that you're doing, I encourage you to acknowledge Treaty 1 First Nations who are in the room. And the reason that I find that so powerful is because you look around and maybe you'll see 1, 2 people, if you're lucky, and depending on the type of work arrangements that you're in, you'll see many. And if you don't see any, that's where I would question, what do I need to do? So a couple of things that you can do is read the Truth and Reconciliation Calls to Action. You can read the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. You could Google and find the PDFs to both of those really amazing and helpful documents. And to continue acknowledging your treaty territory wherever you are. There is traditional Indigenous lands, no matter where you are in North America, traditional Indigenous lands that you are residing in, and the fact that you're residing there is one of the benefits. It's a traditional practice that has been in existence for thousands of years to acknowledge that. So when you enter a new region, who are the treaty or Indigenous nations that are originally here from this territory? And yeah, so I just thought, you know what, today is that day, Treaty 1 celebration, to celebrate 147 years. I think that's worth talking about. I think that's worth sharing. And I also think that because, look at these two, they're not monkeys, they're doggies, but I want to call them monkeys because they're so cute. A lot of talk about learning about treaties, understanding Indigenous is causing conversations everywhere for people to learn more about their identity. Where were my grandparents born? Were my grandparents born somewhere else? And, you know, starting to recognize the difference between me and you, and First Nation and non-First Nation. And so a lot of stories about identity, and I did a TED Talk recently, and I would be honored if you would watch it. Just Google Jessica Dumas TED Talk. And my goal with that talk is to really have people share their identity story in, you know, how is it that you got to where you are today? Because the more that we share stories, they're not just entertaining, they're not just emotional, they're stories. That was a call for me. I gotta go. Happy Treaty 1 Day. Bye. Say bye, everybody. Bye.